Mars is the self-centered instinctive drive and impulse, the sparkle and penetrating force. Mars is somewhat awkward and extroverted. Mars is very inconsiderate and purposeful. Mars equals sex. The position of Venus and Mars, blended with the position of the Sun and the Moon, in your individual natal chart, or in the chart of your partner, point to sexual behavior and sex outlook. Therefore, this content will likely resonate with you if you have a Sun, Moon, Venus or Mars in Taurus. Today we are talking about the sexuality of Mars in Taurus. People with Mars in Taurus have a very simple and very sensible expectation about sex. They expect it to feel good. Sex is a physical matter for these lovers, and they have no patience for idealism, sentiment, or anything else that might get between them and the absolute enjoyment of their bodies. It's not that the sex drive here is unusually strong. Rather, it is so immediate, physical, and animalistic that it just won't be denied. No matter how much these lovers try to control or sublimate their physical need for sex, they will find themselves overwhelmed by the raw, earthy power of Mars in Taurus. Even though their approach to sex may seem primitive, people with Mars in Taurus are typically very accomplished lovers. They are gifted with a slow, fulsome sensuality and have few inhibitions, not because they enjoy breaking the rules, but because no opportunity for pleasure should be left untested. They are passionate, but they never let their passions run amok. Mars in Taurus lovers always follow the calm direction of their own bodies, and they always know exactly how to optimize their own pleasure. Thus, they have a pretty good notion about what it takes to bring pleasure to others. Despite their deep appreciation of physical pleasure, Mars in Taurus lovers are conservative people who prefer to keep their sex lives private and, at least ostensibly, conventional. This can present a problem for them. Even in the most permissive of societies, their very primitive and earthy approach to sex may be just too much for polite company. Hey, sometimes they even offend themselves. Consequently, you often find people with Mars in Taurus leading double lives. Sex becomes their dirty little secret, an activity relegated to the underground where they can be as bad as they need to be. In some instances, these lovers do this because of repressive influences in the society in which they live, but other times they do it simply to satisfy their own inner censor. They would rather not have to own up to the true extent of their sensual appetites. Since the main event in any sexual encounter is always going to be their own pleasure, Mars in Taurus people may appear to be selfish and inflexible. It is often difficult for lovers of this type to adapt to the needs of other people. In some cases, this "it's all about me" attitude can evolve into a level of narcissism. This brings us to the biggest problem for Mars in Taurus lovers. It is rooted in the very physicality that makes them such good sex partners. Their single-minded search for sensation means that they often end up in bed with bodies rather than people. They become so involved in their own pleasure that they forget sex is really about building a loving bond with another individual. This is not to say that these lovers are unkind. Actually, they are typically quite thoughtful and warm-hearted. But their unshakable assumption that good sex equals a good relationship can make them seem self-indulgent, insensitive and even cruel to the partner who needs more than an orgasm in order to feel loved. This content was written by astrologer Joey Watts. Please like and subscribe to Phenomenal Astrology.